Hello students, welcome to this session. Hope you are all doing good. So in this session, we are looking into missing numbers in figures for SSC CGL exams. Now, before we start the questions, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Time for Bank SSC CGL, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for all the notifications of the videos we upload in the channel. Right. So now you say select the missing number from the given responses. Okay. So here you have two worked out examples. So we need to see how this works. Now usually when the numbers are smaller numbers, as you can see here you have 7, 8, 9, everything is involved and you only have 77 and 81, then preferably we don't take squares or anything, we try to see what combination of operators can be used to answer. So that means here you have A, B, C and let's say D is my answer. How do I get that? So it is A plus C into B is going to give me D. So that is what we can look at. That is how you can do this. So you take 3 and 8, you multiply with, you add, which is 11, and then you multiply it with 7. That gives you 77. Same way 4 and 9. Okay. Now what you do? You add, that gives you 13, and then you multiply by 3, that gives you 39. And that's the option we can choose. Choice 2. So here also 2 and 7 you add, that gives you 9, multiply by 9 gives you 81. So it all depends on how the numbers are given and what sort of approach I can make use of. Okay. Second, again study the given pattern carefully and select the number that can replace the question mark in it. Now as you can see here, let us take this as our right hand side. Now the numbers that are given on the right hand side are big numbers, correct? So now what we can do is we prefer taking squares, means when you have A, B and C, I will take A square plus B square, will it equal to C or not? That is what we need to check. Means 4 square plus 6 square, 16 plus 36 is 52, 8 square plus 12 square, 64 plus 144, 208. So now my answer will be 13 square plus 7 square, which is 169 and 49. So you add 170 and 50 and subtract 2 from it. 170, 50 is 220 and by subtracting 2 from it gives you 218. So fourth option. Understanding this? Okay. Then, yes. Now next here, so let's see how this goes. Okay. Now what is it that you observe is, see, since it is a 3 by 3 matrix, you can either do horizontally or vertically. Vertically you can do or horizontally you can do. But by looking at 8 and 6, will I get 17? 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 3 is 17. But here what about 7 and 21? You add, gives you 29, but then you are doing minus 19. There is no logic there. Nothing else I can do. I cannot take squares or cubes or product or anything like that. So we will change our tactic and we write A, B and C. Now what we can do here is simply by adding A and C, you will get B. So try to find an easier way to get the answer. Means check here, 8 and 7 you add is 15. 6 and 21 you add is 27. So in the same way, 17 and 10 you add gives you 27 and that is available to us in third option. So find an easier way to get an answer out of it. You don't have to do like this only. Understanding the point? The question mark need not always show you that it has to be done vertically. It can be done horizontally also. It depends on how the numbers are given. Okay. Yes. Now next, now here we can look at vertical operations because as you can see the numbers are bigger numbers. So how do I get them? So obviously you cannot take squares, correct? I cannot take squares. So let's try product. Okay. So when I take product, so you have 24, okay, and you have 14. So what is the product that I can have? So you have 280 and 14 into 4 is 56 is 280 and 56 is 336. Okay. So 14 into 20, 280, 14 into 4, 56, 280 and 56. 336. So then what else I can do? How do I get 84 now? So what happens if I divide by 4? Correct? So 4 goes 8 times 32, carry 1, 16, 4 goes 4 times 16. So am I getting 84? Yeah. So basically if I take the logic here, so for A, B and C, my logic will be A into B divided by 4, that is going to give me C. Because you do have big numbers, but the left hand side numbers are also slightly bigger numbers, so I cannot take squares. Try product and then division. So same 26 into 32 by 4. So now what we can do? 15 into 16 by 4. So 4 goes 4 times. So 15 into 4 you get is 60, and that's available to us in the first option. So you need to be flexible, either vertical operation or horizontal operation. Okay. Yes. Now next again he says find the missing number. Okay. So here what can be done? So now again we consider vertical operation. So using 12 and 8, how do I get 100? So you take a product. I cannot take squares. What happens if I take a product? So I have 12 into 8, correct, which is 96, and I have to add 4 more to get 100. Okay, so let's do the other. So the next is 11 into 9, I have 99, but then I have to add 2 more. So how can I get this 4 and 2? Again by using the same numbers, I can write this as 12 minus 8 is 4 and 11 minus 9 is 2, correct? So my formula for A, B and C is going to be A into B minus, plus A minus B. This is my logic to get C. A into B plus A minus B. That's what we do. 15 into 4 is 60 plus 15 minus 4, 11. So 60 plus 11, that gives you 71. Okay. Now here. So observe again, what can I observe is from 330 to 342 is very small, 68 to 72 is also very small difference. How much I am adding? You check. Here you are adding 9, correct? And here you are adding 4, correct? So how do I get 9 using 18? You take by 2. How much? How do I get 4 by using 8? By 2. So basically if you have A, B and C, the logic is going to be A by 2 plus B is going to give me C. That's all. So 22 by 2 is 11. 11 plus 495. So 495 plus 10 is 505 plus 1 more gives you 506. Fourth option. Okay. Yes. Now see this. Obviously it is a vertical operation again. Now here by just taking 3 into 9 I am getting 27, and here also by 7 into 3 I am getting 21. But what do I do? What should I do with this extra 2? What can I do here is, if I have A, B, C and a D, what can I take the logic as? The logic I can take is A into B into C minus 1 I can do. That will give me D. Because 2 minus 1 is 1. So multiply 27 with 1 is 27. Same way 2 minus 1 is 1. So multiply that gives you 21. So what should I have as number? So that after doing minus 1 I will get 84. So right now how much is it? 4 into 3 is 12. So 12 multiplied by how much is 84? 7 times is 84. That means this question mark should be 7. Oh sorry, multiplied by 7 is 84, right? Then the question mark cannot be 7. The question mark has to be 8, because my logic here is what? C minus 1. So 8 minus 1 is what you have to multiply. Understanding the point? So it is 4 into 3 into 8 minus 1, that is going to give me 84. So the answer here you have to pick is 8, not 7. Please be very careful. The formula is A into B into C minus 1. Yeah. Next one. Similar, study the pattern carefully, select the number that can replace the question mark. Okay. Yes, so what can be done here? So how do I take it? Should I take it vertically or horizontally? Okay. So prefer to take horizontally because the numbers are very close by. So what I can do here is, yeah, check this. Now 15 and 42 is there, no? Or 15 and 27. What happens when I add them? So here you have a A, you have a B, you have a C. What happens if I add A plus B? Will I get C? Yeah, I am getting C. 15 plus 27 is 42. 38 plus 58 is 96. Direct. So 56 plus 11. How much is that? 67. And that's the option you choose. 67. So basically this is the logic. A plus B gives you C. Correct? Next. Yeah, find the missing number from below options. Okay. So let's take this vertically only. Vertical representation. So what can I do here? So you do have some bigger numbers here, 222, 224, correct? Yes. So and here also some big numbers are there. So let's take squares, but this time let's subtract them. Means if you have A, B and C, first let us take B square minus A square because the second row numbers are bigger than the first row numbers. That's the pattern you observe there, correct? So if I do that, so what will I get? 21 square minus 15 square, which is 441 minus 225. So this is 6, 1, 216 you are getting. Now you are to add 6 more. So how am I getting this 6 more? Again by using 21 and 15, I can do 21 minus 15, you get 6. Are you understanding the point? So basically this is B square minus A square plus B minus A. That is how I am getting C. That is the formula we can use. So we do the same, 16 square minus 6 square. So 16 square, 256 minus 36, correct? 220 minus, sorry, plus 16 minus 6, that is 10. So 220 plus 10 gives you 230. That is my answer. So try the calculations orally. You check first and then try the calculations orally. So this is 16 square minus 6 square plus 16 minus 6. That is how we get this. 256 minus 36, 220 plus 10 gives you 230. So choice 2. Okay. Then, yeah, so we again take this vertically. So using 6, 4 and 5, how do I get 120? Multiply and check. 6 into 5, 30, 30 into 4, 120. Correct. So simple multiplication should be sufficient here. So here 3 into 5, 15, 15 into 7, 105. Okay, multiplication works. So here also multiplication should work. 7 into 3, 21, 21 into 4 gives you 84 and that's available in third option. So it's basically A into B into C is giving you D. That's the logic. Vertically. A, B, C, D. Okay. Then, in the following question, select the missing number from the given series. Okay. So let's see how this works. So you have 4, 5, 7. So should I take vertically or horizontally? This is what you need to check here. Okay. So let's take vertically and check it because you have an 85, a slightly bigger number. So 9 and 7, how do I get 85? 9 and 7, how do I get 85? Okay, so what we can do is, you have a 9, so I'll take a square that gives you 81. correct? And then I need to add 4 more to get 85. Now how do I get this 4? So can I take 9 minus 7 whole square, which is 2 square? Will that work here also? 4 square is 16, and then 4 minus 5 is negative 1, negative 1 square is 1, so 16 plus 1, 17. So it will work. So taking A, B, C, my logic is A square plus A minus B whole square. That gives you C. That's the logic we can try. So 6 square, 36 plus difference is 2, 2 square, 4, 36 plus 4 gives you 40, and I do have an answer here, 40, using 6 and 8, correct? Right. Next, so now here should I do this vertically or horizontally? He says select the missing number in the given sequences, sorry, from the given responses. Okay, so let's take vertical only, because as you can check, some bigger numbers are there. So let's put it in the right hand side. So using 6 and 21, how do I get 33? So what we can do here using this? So what is the difference, you check, correct? 33, 21, what is the difference? 12. How do I get 12 from 6? 2, you multiply. So basically if I take A, B, C, it is 2A plus B, I can get C. 2 into 6, 12 plus 21, 33. 2 into 7, 14 plus 38, 52. So 2 into 16, 32. So 125 minus 32 is what we need to do. So 125 minus 25 is 100, and from 25 you have 7 more, gives you 32. So basically it is 93. So it is 2 times of 16 plus B is 125. So this is 32. So B is 125 minus 32. So try to do orally. So what I did was I split this 32 as 25 and 7. And then I did, that's all. Because 125 is there, subtract with 25 gives you 100, and then 7 more gives you 93. And that's what we pick as the answer. So work on the calculations and find a easier way, whichever is comfortable for you to get the answers. Got it? Right. Then, 13th one. So you know that 256 basically can be written as 16 square, correct? Now 16 can be written as 4 square. 4 square whole square basically is nothing but 4 to the power 4, and that is what I have here. So you have A, B, C, so it's basically B to the power A gives you C, that's the logic, powers. So 10 to the power 5, because you have 1 followed by 5 zeros, so it is 10 power 5. 1 followed by 5 zeros is 10 power 5. Now 3 power 8. Now 3 power 8 can be written as 3 power 4 whole square. What is 3 power 4? 81. 81 square. Now when you look at your options, what is 80 square? 8 square is 64. So 6400. There is only one option that is having such a big value. So you mark that. Understanding the point? Okay. So it is B power A gives you C, powers in this case. Okay. Now next I need to see how do I get these using. You have a question mark here. So preferably we will consider here you have 752, and this is going to be our RHS, which is 6. So how do I get that? So you can add 7 plus 5, that gives you 12, and then you divide by 2, that gives you 6. That's how we can take in a clockwise direction. So 12 plus 6 is 18, 18 divided by 6 is 3, correct? And 14 plus 7, 21, 21 divided by 3 will give you 7 again, fourth option, right? So when you have A, B, C, D, so basically it is A plus B then divide by C, that gives you D. That's the logic. Okay. Move in the clockwise direction. Right. Then next. So he says find the missing number from the given responses. So now using 8 and 9 I should get 431. Correct. Using 5 and 6 I should get 89. Okay. So taking squares, is it possible? I have to check. So 5 square is 25, 6 square is 36. 25 plus 36. No, it is not going to get 89. But what can I do? Or can I take 5 cube and 6 square? So this is 125 minus 36. Correct? So 125 minus this 36 can be written as 25 plus 11. So 125 minus 25 is 100. 100 minus 11 gives you 89. And that is precisely what I have. So this is a horizontal operation we can consider. So when you have A, B and C, so I am taking A cube minus B square, that is going to give me C. That's the logic we are doing. So 7 cube 343 minus 4 square 16. So how much is this? 343 minus 16. So you are going to get 327, fourth option. Okay. So that's how this works. Missing number in the figures. Alright, so those were the questions you had in this topic. Now, before we end the session, do join and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all bank, SSC, CGL, insurance, railway and other related exams. And these are our social media handles. This is the link for Telegram, the link for the YouTube channel, the link for Instagram and Facebook. Okay, the links are given in the description box below. And for classroom coaching, do contact your nearest time center, and for online courses, you can enroll at t4e.info/banksssconline. Okay, and thank you.